Hello, I'm struggling playwright and host Michael English.
And I am struggling playwright and also host Mikey Mills. And we are struggling to write, but doing less struggling with the audio, hopefully.
Yeah, better audio thanks to Mikey, thank you. Joined with us again today is the lovely...
I am Luke Beckett.
He joined us for the first episode, and he'll join us for many more because he's an awesome actor and a great guy.
I like that sweater. Where'd you get it?
Oh, thank you. I found it at a yard sale, actually. It's, believe it or not, from Russia.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Dimitri Owen, if you're watching, thank your mom for the awesome sweater.
Yeah, it's true.
So when'd you go to Russia?
What?
All right.
Oh, I said I got it from a yard sale.
In Russia?
Maybe.
Today we are going to be reading an excerpt from a play that I never finished, but it's all Sherlock Holmes themed, and it's called Welcome Holmes. It's my take on Sherlock Holmes. Then we'll talk for an amount of time that we don't need to talk for. After that, we'll move on to our Behind the Curtain segment, which is where we do acting or improv or a skit or a musical song. Today we are doing what?
We are doing a little snippet from a play I just started. It's called Leslie Frisk, the Cincinnati Cop.
That's it.
And it's inspired by my favorite movie of all time, The Naked Gun.
Great movie.
Love it. Just love it.
And then at the end, we'll end it off with a good old-fashioned, terribly off-key musical goodbye.
I hope it's not off-key.
Me neither, but it was last time.
Oh, yeah, right about that.
So you will be playing Sherlock Holmes. It's that hat and that jacket.
All right.
I especially picked that jacket out for you. I also will have you playing Sid Prince. That's just that hat.
Oh, right.
Sid Prince is kind of a silly character. I'll be playing Watson. That's why I wore my flannel beige color today. And Luke,
I'm starting to pick up.
you do such a good British lady impression. You will be playing. You will be playing first Mary Holmes, Sherlock's Sherlock's wife, and that's just the shawl. And then you will also be playing Alice, which is the other costume pieces.
What's a shaw?
It's like it goes over your shoulder.
Got it. I think I'm...
All right. Mysterious music plays. Lights rise. Watson enters. Well, hello there. My name is Dr. John Watson. You may call me Watson, but this story is not about me. Not at all about me. In fact, I am just a sidekick. The best friend, the right-hand man. This story is really about a man so brave, so courageous, so humble. He's the toughest man in all of London, yet he'd never shoot a man in the back. He's a great detective, and I have the pleasure of calling him my closest friend since primary. William Sherlock Scott Holmes, Mr. Holmes, Detective Holmes, a man of many names, and many talents, too. In fact, he is on his way back to London from the United States of America as we speak. He was there for a meeting with the President of the United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt, discussing this awful war and the awful policies being put in place by Germany, no doubt. Still, whatever the discussion, I cannot wait until Sherlock returns home to see me. I'm growing anxious to solve another mystery as quickly as the passing second. To be quite frank, I cannot begin to explain how incredibly excited I am to hear what brilliant and witty things Sherlock Holmes will have to say to me when he sees me again for the first time. Just then, Sherlock enters.
Watson, get out!
Oh, Sherlock, Mary, you're back.
And exhausted. Watson, I'll speak to you in the morning.
Well, you see, I'm only here to speak to you personally, Sherlock. I've been waiting for another case.
We can speak to the constable in the morning. Mary, do you mind taking the luggage to our room?
Yes, dear. Watson, it was great to see you. We had so much fun in America. Have you ever been to a White Castle?
Mary, please.
I'd love to speak to you about it soon.
Well, I'd be delighted, Mrs. Holmes. Perhaps tomorrow over a cup of tea.
I'll see you then.
Did you miss me awfully, Watson?
Only you would be invited to America by the President, Sherlock. A brilliantly lucky Sherlock Holmes. How was it, old friend?
Oh, better than I imagined. Roosevelt and I had great conversation. Watson, I only wish you could have joined us. We talked of all his new ordeals, Social Security. Unemployment benefits.
Benefits for being unemployed? I've always disagreed with that, you know. It'll make the nations lazy.
Oh, Roosevelt is a good man. He seems to know what he's doing.
Discussions of the war.
Oh, naturally. The war, how awful it is. Watson, if something isn't done soon, then...
Well, you've spoken to Roosevelt. Is something being done?
No, of course. Elementary, my dear Watson. Yet, sadly, not soon enough.
All right, now we skip ahead a little bit because this play is a little bit everywhere. Because you were right, I did delete certain snippets. Because that's what writing is. You write and you rewrite, right?
Oh, no kidding.
But this scene is when Sherlock is arriving to his new home in the play, and I will explain that later. But yeah.
All right, Watson.
I'm sorry.
You're looking good, Mary. Watson, you're here. I wasn't sure this was the right address.
This is it?
Bigger than I imagined.
Indeed.
Dirtier than I imagined.
Most definitely.
And more roommates than I imagined.
Oh, those must be the owners. Let's say hello.
Good afternoon, Dr. John
That's
Watson.
my line, buddy. Good afternoon. Dr. John Watson and my good friend, Mr. Holmes.
How do you do, Doctor? Mr. Holmes, I'm Alison Taylor. This is my father, Cecil.
Top of the morning to you, gents.
Wow. Alison Taylor, have we met before?
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's nothing. Forgive me. You just
Do
remind
you
me.
like the place, Sherlock?
Oh, of course. Right, oh my. What a beautiful property.
Well, it could use a bit of work. Father's only been using one space as the master bedroom the past 25 years. Other than that, not much has changed. A fixer-upper for sure.
If I wasn't mistaken, I would believe this building to have been an old abandoned...
A railway station, because that's what it is.
I knew it all along. Watson, you didn't tell me you'd be relocating to a retired railway station.
Is there a problem with that, Mr. Holmes?
Oh, no problem, Watson. It's magnificent.
It has quite the history, Mr. Holmes. I'm sure my father would love to tell you all about it.
Well, Holmes and I are big history buffs. Let's hear it, Mr. Taylor. Abandoned by the North London Railway in 1922, and I had worked with the company since about 1892, I believe.
And when was this building erected?
In 1850, that's when they opened it up to the public. I always loved the station. A beautiful structure. They don't make them like they used to. A shame it sits how it is now. And let's hear, Mr. Taylor, how did you get ownership of the property? Well, I worked here for many years, but it wasn't easy.
Father lost the building when it went off to market. It was sold to the higher bidder from Germany. But luckily, another man in London gave my father a chance and bought the property with an even higher bid. Gave the property to my father as a gift.
What an interesting story. And what a gift.
And what about you, Cecil? If Watson is buying this property, where will you go?
We have family in Dresden. We'll stay there.
Dresden? You think Dresden is safe with the war and the way it is now?
You think London is? Well, Cecil, Alison, I do believe this estate is exactly what I'm looking for. It has lots of room, a great view, and best of all, it's secluded. It's perfect. Do you agree, Mr. Holmes?
Ah, elementary, my dear Watson.
This next scene, we're going to do another scene cut here, is Sherlock talking with the damsel in distress in the play, Alison here, and then we are also introduced to a couple of the bad guys in this scene, so I'm excited.
You see, when I was younger, there was this young woman I met in my schooling, University of Edinburgh Medical School. She was studying to be a doctor. All I could think about was detective work, solving mysteries, washing out all the crime in London. And I had an opportunity to work on a case. It was my very first case, and with my dear friend, John Watson.
Oh, Watson seems like such a good man.
Because he is one. Anyway, the young woman and I had met, were so interested in my work and life, I told her time after time it was too dangerous. But she insisted she stay around. And she was smart. She was so intelligent. Top of the class. So I let her join us on our first case. She was in my flat one evening, and Watson and I had been out scouting the area. It was a horrid affair with a Russian government, but anyway, her life was put in danger, and her life was robbed away from her. They broke into my flat and they killed her. It felt like it was all in my hands.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you say that? That's not your fault in the slightest. I'm sure that young woman would be proud of how much you've accomplished since then.
You know what, Allison? You remind me a lot of that young woman. I'm sorry, Mrs. Taylor. I've said too much.
It's all right, Sherlock. I'm feeling better already.
Miss Taylor, I suppose I should look into the fact that the secret agent could be Augustus Ravenscroft, and he could be the one who murdered your father.
Are you saying you think I'm right, Mr. Holmes?
I'm stating that nothing is certain, but I must eliminate every possible theory one at a time, and I don't have much time to do it. I'll be returning to the city to find the secret agent.
Oh, let me come with you, Holmes.
I'm sorry, Miss Taylor, but it's far too dangerous. My coat, if you will. Should I take this off?
Yeah, I think we should probably take that off, hand it to Luke. We act out that whole thing.
Let's do it! I will call for Watson and the constable to arrive to your aid very promptly. Until we meet again, Miss Taylor.
Sherlock exits.
You're going to leave me here alone?
Though you aren't alone, Miss Taylor, and Mr. Holmes won't be able to save you.
Oh, get out! What do you want? Mr. Holmes! Mr. Holmes!
Scream one more time and I'll shoot, just like I shot your father.
No!
And your mother.
No, I knew it was you. Well, I'll have you know I was talking to Detective
He
Sherlock.
can't save you now. Don't you get it? You hurt him yourself. You remind him so much of Claire. His first love died in his own hands. He wouldn't let the same happen to you.
Sherlock is brilliant. You'll never get away with this.
But I am more brilliant, Allison. You see, I lured you here by killing your father. Now I lure Sherlock to me using you as bait. And once Sherlock is mine, John Watson will have no choice but to pay.
Sid enters with a cupcake, and Sid is a little bit of a goofy character.
This hotel has a dessert bar and everything. You have to see it for yourself, Augustus.
Sid, not now.
Sid? Who's Sid?
Only the best lockpicker in London.
You mean Locksmith?
No, lockpicker sounds more criminal.
Never mind how it's pronounced. Sid will be breaking us into Sherlock's old flat. That's where I'll keep you. Herr Mueller thinks it may be a hiding spot for runaway Jews from Berlin.
What do the Nazis have to do with my father's estate?
Oh, Allison, the Nazis have everything to do with your father's estate. Because if I find this Jewish family getting aid from Sherlock, I can make the ransom even higher.
The sound of a 1940s police car can be heard.
Watson, good friend. The game's afoot.
Yeah, what was that?
What was that?
That was my take of a play called, my take of Sherlock Holmes. It's called Welcome Holmes, which is a running, it's a title that is set to change, that is...
Funny.
I like that.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's funny, but I feel like it's a little cheesy. I wrote that about a year ago, maybe.
Really?
I remember reading that.
It
was complete. So I'm curious, how did you change it? What is new now that was different back then?
Oh, I was struggling to write, if you can believe it. So I didn't actually... The only thing that I happened from the version you read was I took stuff away because I was like, this is sloppy. So I haven't added anything since then. I like the themes. I waited for that whole Nazi scene to happen till the end because I didn't want to give that away right away.
I see.
But I think it's... I could be wrong. I haven't seen a lot of Sherlock Holmes that tie in with that specific genre, dealing with World War II.
Yeah,
I think
it
it's
seems
a great,
unique to me.
A great show. I think I remember reading this and thinking it was really good. And my question is, when are the other Sherlocks set? Like the 1890s?
That's what I was wondering. I'm not familiar.
1900s? Because
Right.
I think
don't
the
know.
books came out because they were books, right?
Right.
First, and
'Cause,
then
yes.
they turned them into plays.
Yes, and see, so I know of one
When the
book.
plays became movies.
I know of one book, and that book is I believe it's called the final chapter of Sherlock Holmes, and it actually features a character that I wrote in my play, which is Sid.
Oh, really?
Sid Prince.
Really?
Sid Prince is a real locksmith, and he has worked for, I believe, the last episode. The villain is one of the Larrabees, which I'll talk more about that character later. But Sid Prince was in that last chapter too, and he's a real character, and he's a locksmith that works for the villain. So that is why I put him in mine.
By the way, that was hilarious, the voice you did for Sid. Phenomenal. Good choice. On the spot.
I mean,
It's funny because I always thought that, like, doing the play, you would make a phenomenal Sid. Now that you're a little more grown, I think you're more of a Watson or...
I'll take
Because
that.
Watson reminds me kind of Nick from The Great Gatsby in a way.
haven't seen the movie.
Which one?
Either of them.
The book's much better. You're not missing your time. So yeah, in my Sherlock Holmes, he is meeting with the President of the United States, Roosevelt at the time. They're talking about what they can do to stop Hitler, try and come to end with World War II there. There is a couple detectives that are after Sherlock that we haven't even got into, and they're really American detectives, and he doesn't know that. He's buying a new house because he is moving this Jewish family into his old flat.
Right.
And this is where the conflict of the villain Augustus Ravenscroft comes in, because he is actually the one that gave that property to Cecil Taylor. So he is the one that owns the property that Sherlock is now moving into, and that is how he gets his tie with Sherlock and realizes that he's hiding the Jewish family.
Now, if I remember right, a lot of this play was from Watson's perspective.
Yes, Watson is the narrator.
That's right.
Ah.
I really like that. I thought that was a unique
yep.
choice.
I like the idea of Watson always journaling. Mikey, let's talk about something. So our episode today is all about detectives and
Mysteries.
agents and mysteries and noirs. You have played a lot of detectives.
Oh, yeah.
You've been in a lot of mystery dramas. Let's talk about some of those.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the first time I was in a show of this genre was The Games Afoot back in high school.
I've never seen it.
I haven't either.
It's really good. It's also called Holmes for the Holidays.
Also called? There's two
Yeah.
titles?
I don't know why it's two, but
Really?
it's about these actors who are playing Sherlock Holmes. They're in a Sherlock Holmes play. And then the Sherlock Holmes plot actually happens to all the actors. And I think it's a really clever show. Sherlock Holmes' character was a guy by the name of William Gillette. And, man, I can't remember exactly how that name was related to Sherlock Holmes, but I think Gillette was actually a guy who either was involved in writing or playing Sherlock Holmes in a real production.
Wow.
So it's just a really clever play.
Yeah.
I would suggest anyone to check it out.
The Games Afoot? Is that
Yeah, The Games Afoot.
Or what's the other one?
Holmes for the Holidays.
Holmes for the
Strange.
holidays.
That is strange.
I think it took place around Christmas.
So
I think.
So is that a catch to let's pick up some more ticket sales for Christmas if we name it this title instead?
I mean,
Well,
So
I
if
mean,
Welcome Holmes is a Christmas show, I should title it Holmes for the Holiday. You have been in a show titled The 39 Steps multiple times. In The 39 Steps, you played a detective.
yes, I played Richard Hannay.
Good role.
It's
very
a good role. Can I be honest on the podcast? They were too true to the movie, and a lot of people absolutely love the script.
Right.
I don't. A lot of the jokes, in my opinion, just don't work with a 4-person cast. A lot of things are pulled directly from the movie, and they force it to work too hard. You can't have a 4-person cast when there's so many characters. I mean, a lot of people love this, but the people who love it don't hate me.
So you want to...
The people who love that, only they're actors. Actors love it.
I think trying to deliver that type of comedy on stage as it is already hard enough. So doing it with a small cast does make it a little difficult.
Now, I worked with some insanely talented actors. I mean, I'm just the detective on stage, reading monologues and saying lines, and they're switching costumes. They're doing all this stuff. It's insane, and it's technically insane too.
If you were a clown, is that the correct title?
Yeah,
39
clowns.
steps. If you were a clown in 39 steps, you
that's
have to change into over, for the viewers that don't know, over probably 20 costumes apiece.
Do I like the show in general, though? No, I don't really.
I personally think you are an idiot for not appreciating the role. I want to play the role of Richard Hernandez.
I gotta
The
go
other
with Michael.
thing I don't like about the role is that my character is inconsistently written. That it isn't clear if I play him deadpan or if I play him funny. It kind of jumps from you gotta play it.
I hate how he's played in the movie. I like how you play it so much more
I
than
hate
how he
the movie
played.
version.
The movie version's awful. The
Yeah.
acting of Richard Hernandez in the movie version. Have you seen the movie version?
I have seen the movie, and I do not like it at all.
I just don't think 39 Steps is that amazing of a film. You want to know a good Alfred Hitchcock movie?
What?
The Birds.
Now, what about the gala where you played a detective? It was a gala,
Gala,
and Mikey
gala,
was.
gala.
He didn't remember his lines, and he was
Oh,
this detective.
Mikey!
So Mikey says, "Well, it's okay, Bob. if he's a detective, and then he can just hold a clipboard, and then he has a clipboard, and he's reading the
You're
lines."
joking.
That's not the only time I've done that in a detective show either.
What?
Which I'll get to that in a second.
If you want to know what that looks like, this is it.
Oh, that's right. You did film it.
You're here. Do you think you can help us? My presence here should come as a surprise. Come.
Luke, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
Who do you think between Mikey and I is more likely to be a secret spy?
Oh, that's a tough one. Mikey, you play a spy well. I've never seen you play a spy, Michael.
I've never played a spy.
It's fun being a detective. Like, I'm not... To go
I'm gonna go with
back
Michael
real
because
quick,
of that statement.
it is fun to be a detective. I
go
love
with
the
Michael.
roles. And another guy wrote a play that I was in.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wait. What did you answer the question? Who?
Michael. Michael's more
What?
likely to...
So if you all didn't know, I was actually in a production of Sherlock Holmes once.
Oh,
What'd you
that's
play?
right.
So it was the most terrible play I'd ever been in. The set was awful, and I feel like I'm allowed to say that because we were in the classes where we built the set. It was literally built by high schoolers, and
Well, I mean, that's fair.
we were
part
doing a
of it.
bad job.
They let you use power drills and stuff like that?
Yeah, we did.
They're not middle schoolers, Mikey.
That's true. They had.
Yeah, but insurance.
They have
and-
shop. Have you never heard of people
Yeah.
taking wood shop and building?
Well, we didn't at our high school. I wish we did. I would have loved to take in shop.
The set was so bad, and I played James Larrabee, and he was a villain.
that?
And I got to wear a giant curly mustache, and that was the best part.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
that's
That's
funny.
great.
I did wear a top hat and had a cane, though, so the only problem was I really did look like Willy Wonka.
So this is totally off topic. You know the Monopoly guy? He has a... You imagine him with a little glass. What
He
is that
doesn't.
called? Hold on. Let me get to that. What is that called?
A
Monocle.
Monocle. He doesn't have a monocle.
And you're thinking of the Pringles Man.
You ever heard of the...
No.
Pringles Man doesn't have
Pringles?
a monocle.
I bet you over $2 million the Pringle Man... No, he doesn't. You're right.
It's the
One shit.
peanut guy.
The peanut guy has the monocle.
And did you see the thing where everyone's freaking out because Dwayne The Rock Johnson? There is never The Rock, and it's just Dwayne Johnson. There's no The Rock. Look it up.
No. So his wrestling name wasn't Dwayne The
Dwayne
Rock.
Johnson is his wrestling name. The Rock is
No.
a fan. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Wait, what?
All right, now it is time for our favorite segment. What is it? What's the segment, Luke?
It is... Drum roll, please. Come on.
Behind the curtain.
Hey.
The name is Leslie Frisk. I'm a detective with the Cincinnati Police Department. You may be wondering why all these teary-eyed individuals are behind me, and well, this is my dead wife's funeral. She was murdered early last Tuesday in a horrible and graphic way. Exhibit A. This is where Donna, who is dead, was found at approximately 3:15 a.m. on the corner of Vine and Maple. We at the police department believe she was shot 3 times. The first bullet came and went clear through her right arm. There was a struggle, and then she ran about 15 feet southwest. The next bullet came and got her in the foot, and then she hobbled, or perhaps she stumbled. Picture a pirate with a peg leg about 4 feet to the east. And this is when the final blow came, straight through the heart. This wasn't the end for Donna's body, however. See, she was hacked up and distributed into 5 heavy-duty garbage bags. 3 of these were found in the Ohio River about 10 miles south of the city, with the other usual floating bags of body parts. As for the other 2, something much worse happened. You see, us Cincinnati natives take our chili very seriously. It's served with spaghetti on the bottom, chili on the spaghetti, and a mountain of delicious cheddar cheese on top. The Wednesday after the murder, however, there was a mix-up with the meat. The rest of Donna was found at Silver Diamond Chili and was served to customers that entire day.
Wait, that Wednesday? I ain't there Wednesday.
We at CPD don't believe that Silver Diamond had anything to do with the incident and has assured us that the chili is now completely human-free.
This is for my daughter, scumbag.
So, Mikey, what was that?
Well, that was the first scene and only scene I've written for a concept show I have called Leslie Frisk, the Cincinnati Cop. And it's inspired greatly by my favorite movie of all time.
I think I know where you're going.
The Naked Gun.
Yep.
And Leslie Nielsen is the actor who plays
So even the
Frank
name is
Drebin.
a little inspiration.
So yeah, even the name is an inspiration. Is that legal? I don't know. What makes The Naked Gun so funny is that Leslie Nielsen delivers the lines deadpan through the entire show. I was in, and it was written by a director I had. It was, I can't think of it, and it was very similar to 39 Steps. It was very funny, and I think there was it was more clear who was playing what. I just thought it was a good show.
Right. That is the difficult thing about 39 Steps when it comes down to it. It is also hard to figure out who's playing who.
This play I'm writing, Leslie Frisk, the Cincinnati Cop, is a cop play. It's set, and I'm not sure yet. I've literally written one scene, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is. I'm thinking that so his wife died. And, the first scene is him at the funeral, which I'm not even sure if that should be the first scene or if it should be something different. It was just the concept I had, and
I want everyone to go watch the video and like it and share it because we filmed this for 3 hours and Mikey was late getting here.
I wanted it to be perfect. And I was thinking that there could be a big feud between the fire department and the police department.
That's funny.
And they're playing pranks on each other the whole show. That's just a side plot. I was thinking that the love interest of Leslie Frisk could be the fire chief. And it'd be like a little bit of Romeo and Juliet also parodying that. Because I don't want to copy The Naked Gun. I just want to have that style of humor.
Right. Take inspiration from it, for sure.
Another thing about my play is I'm setting it in Cincinnati, which is near and dear to our hearts. And the thing about writing a regional play is you want it to apply that you can do it in more than just Cincinnati and people understand the jokes and humor. Otherwise, people are just sitting there like, what? I feel like when you write anything, you should try to make it appeal to the absolute most people you can. Of course, on the same token, you look at plays from 500 years ago. Shakespeare.
Nice.
Well, don't worry because we have a Shakespeare episode.
I'm excited.
Very soon. And
I love Shakespeare.
I think your mom's in that episode.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Oh, they're going to love you, Beth.
I have a confession to make.
What?
I have tried to go the whole podcast.
I've tried to go the whole podcast.
Please don't tell me you don't like The Naked Gun.
No, it's worse.
What?
I'm not kidding. I have not seen The Naked Gun.
You've never seen
Naked Gun, and then I sat through this whole
I thought
podcast.
I made you watch it like a year ago.
I don't think you did.
I watched it with you. They went to
it
bed.
was you who watched it.
I definitely went
You've
to bed.
never seen that.
I've never seen
It's
it.
so good.
Okay, you can redeem yourself. Have you seen Airplane?
Yes.
I don't think could translate into a play. There's too many car things.
Oh, no way.
And please, for the love of God...
car keeps driving.
Exactly. You can't do that in a stage show unless you're like Broadway.
Mikey, if the viewers want to reach you and get a hold of your newest play, once you finish it, where can they reach you at?
Reach me in about 2 to 5 years at mwmillsmusic@gmail.com. Because one thing's for sure, with this baby, I'm going to be struggling to write.
And if you want to find my play, what's it called again? The working title here.
Yeah.
Welcome Holmes. You can email me at michaelenglish214@gmail.com. Should we move on to our favorite part, the musical goodbye?
Yeah, let's go on to the musical goodbye.
Right, let me grab my... Here we go.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. It's sad to see you go, but the podcast is gonna end whenever I don't know. I guess that's now. Goodbye. What?
You just try it.
Okay, let's try it.
I'll do the goodbyes.
Okay.
How-
There we go. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Oh, gosh.